Good morning and happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Riley Brannon here, steward and founder and host, I guess you could say, of In Light of the Truth Ministries. Today I wanted to make a special video about Thanksgiving. So, in today's current cultural climate, Thanksgiving gets a bad rap. And I want to defend Thanksgiving. Most importantly, I want to defend the Christian values found within Thanksgiving, because I believe everything in life is either tearing down Christian values, which is the foundation of truth, or it's building up. That's the way I see things. You're either tearing down truth or you're building it up. You're either in reality speaking lies, living lies, or you're speaking truth and living truth. So we as Christians have an obligation to stand for truth. And I want to find out, what is the truth of Thanksgiving. Is it bad? Is it good? What is the truth? That's the whole point of my ministry, In Light of the Truth Ministries. So today, this morning, after I just woke up, I was sifting through a few articles and some stuff, and I came across an article by Sophie Hirsh. I'm not sure who the woman is, and I'm going to. This morning we're going to review her not article, but her article. We'll just use that word. We're going to review her article on Thanksgiving and see how that compares to the scriptures and how it compares to truth. So she writes, Sophie Hirsh, writing from greenmatters.com, she writes, Thanksgiving, this is the title of her article, Thanksgiving glorifies the abhorrent colonization of indigenous peoples. Does Thanksgiving glorify colonization of the indigenous peoples? Let me simplify that. Is Thanksgiving bad, and does it glorify colonialism? And that's the question that I want to answer today. And I'm going to try to do it as quick as I possibly can. Again, this is Sophie Hirsh writing from www.greenmatters.com. I'm going to put a link for this article in the description box below so you can check it out yourself. She asks one of the first statements she makes that I noticed right off the bat is, you may be wondering exactly why Thanksgiving is bad. As if it's already been deemed bad. You may be wondering exactly why Thanksgiving is bad. Is Thanksgiving bad? We're going to answer that. In case some of you who are wondering why Thanksgiving is bad, or I think a better way to put that is Thanksgiving bad? But for those of you who've already made your mind up and you're wondering why it's bad, just listen, hang on with me here, and we'll try to end this video in 10 minutes or maybe a little more, 15 minutes, and find out if Thanksgiving is bad. I'm going to take a few of her statements in this article and just apply scripture, reason, and logic, and see how it holds up, and facts too. See how it holds up. So, you may be wondering exactly why Thanksgiving is bad. This is not an ad hominem, as the philosopher would say, attack on Sophie Hirsh. Just a general observation. Anytime you have to start anything off by tearing someone else down, you're not starting off well. Not at all. You shouldn't have to tear other people down to support your ideas. Put the truth out there and let the truth work. That's my motto. That's the way I live. So she says something else here. Not only is Thanksgiving offensive to indigenous people, but it glorifies colonialism, slavery, and even epidemics. Is Thanksgiving offensive to indigenous peoples? Does it glorify colonialism? Does it glorify slavery and epidemics? Well, according to AmericanIndian.si.edu, giving thanks is a long-standing and central tradition among most Native American groups. That is still practiced today. The first Thanksgiving is often portrayed as a friendly harvest festival where pilgrims, Indians, had come together to eat and give thanks. In reality, the assembly of the Wampanoag, I hope I said that right, peoples and the English settlers in 1621 had much more to do with political alliances, diplomacy, and pursuit of peace. Squanto, or Sisquantum, I think was the correct name, and William Bradford and the early Christian pilgrims who come together on this day around 1621 came together to pursue peace. This was about diplomacy, a pursuit of peace, bringing two very different people together in peace. So that's what Native Americans, many Native American groups today. So are there some indigenous people who may be offended by this? Possibly, but I think it's because they've bought the lie. And so NativeAmerican.com, Native American, let me find it here again. AmericanIndian.si.edu tells us that most Native American groups celebrate this as a time of Thanksgiving. Does Thanksgiving glorify colonialism, slavery, and even epidemics? No, I think these people are. They're saying colonialism, slavery, epidemics. They're throwing out these words and saying, "Look, everybody, this is what Thanksgiving is about." But if you really look at what Thanksgiving is about, it's in the name, Thanksgiving, thankfulness, gratefulness, love, peace, harmony, fellowship. That's what this holiday is all about. So there's that. So she says something else here. The Pilgrims were not the first colonizers to arrive in the Americas and discriminate against Wampanoag. Automatically making the assumption the Pilgrims were colonizers. Were the early Pilgrims colonizers? Well, were there white people that come to America to colonize? Sure, yes there was. Were the early Pilgrims colonizers? No. The early Pilgrims were people fleeing persecution, trying to find religious freedom. That's who they were. In England, they were being persecuted by the Church of England, the Anglican Church, because they wanted to worship God the way they felt in their consciences was the right way to worship God, and the way they believed the Bible said to worship God. But the Church of England, the Anglican Church, wouldn't let them. And so they fled England in search of a new country where they could worship God with religious freedom. And that was America. Their goal was not to come here and subjugate people, to oppress people. Their goal was to come here for religious freedom. And the proof is in their coming here. When they came here, the Indians they came in contact with, what did they do? They made peace with them because they were people of peace. They were Christians, ambassadors of the Prince of Peace, Jesus Christ, to come make peace. And that's what they did. And Squanto was really the big proponent in making that happen. And I would encourage you, look up the testimony and the life of Squanto or Sisquantum. It's a beautiful story of faith, hope, and the goodness of God. So she writes here again, now, as Smithsonian Magazine puts it, the watered-down version of the story frames the Pilgrims as the protagonists, or good guys, when in actuality they were antagonists, which is the bad guys. No credible Christian who I know, who knows anything about actual history, puts people into protagonistic and antagonistic boxes. That's just silly. History is not like that. People are not that simple. Oftentimes, even the best of Christians, or even people in general, oftentimes, even though they do real good things, have major faults. We think of King David, who was a mighty man of God, yet he still sinned with Bathsheba, had an adulterous affair, and assassinated her husband in order to cover it up. But he came to God, he repented, and made things right with God. So, oftentimes people have major faults, but that does not prove we shouldn't celebrate Thanksgiving. Just because a person is not perfect, doesn't mean that we throw out everything good that they did. See, the Christian's not focused on whether they're perfect, whether their performance. They're focused on the perfection of Jesus Christ. That's why we are Christians, is because we're not perfect. Jesus Christ was perfect, so we come to Him for His forgiveness, and so He can make us right with God. Now, if we're walking as Christians, truly walking in the truth, living the truth, we will become more loving, more genuine, more generous. If you're not, then you have reason to question your salvation. But these people were not here to subjugate, and again, Christians who know anything about history at all and study history, we do not put people in good guy boxes and bad guy boxes. Life is not like that. Reality is not like that. So these pilgrims, yes, they may have not been perfect. They may have done some bad things, but I can assure you from the study of history, they didn't come here to subjugate, to oppress, and to wrong people. They came here for religious freedom. So we could go on and on and on. She writes a lot in this article. I read the entire article. I would encourage you to go read it and make your own mind up. But and now I want to give you my conclusion. So, am I saying that every white person has always treated everyone the best? No, that's absurd. Am I saying that there was not European settlers who came to America here to harm people? No, I'm not saying that at all. No human can say that about any race at all. We're all guilty, especially in the eyes of God. Am I sorry for the way some of the Native Americans were treated by my ancestors and other white people's ancestors and European ancestors, especially by the British and the French? Yes, I am sorry for that. I hate to see any human being suffer. If you have any heart at all, any love in your heart at all, you don't want to see nobody suffer. But I do think it's time to not live in the past. It's time to forgive and forget. Irish, Scottish, there was a lot of slavery in those countries. But do we hold that to other certain cultures and certain races? We don't. We forgive and we move on. You can never forgive and be healed. But let me rephrase that. In order for healing and progress to happen in any human being's life, there must be a forgiving and a forgetting. You have to do that, otherwise you'll never heal and you'll never move forward. You'll always be stuck in that place. So I know it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but this is what you have to do in order to heal and move forward. So I hate to see any human being suffer, but do I think that merits not telling this beautiful story of peace, friendship, and love between these two vastly different groups of people? No, absolutely not. In fact, if you were really out for peace, you would be exalting this story because this is a story of peace. You wouldn't be tearing down this beautiful story, this beautiful historical story, and other people along with it. You wouldn't be doing that because this is a story of love, peace, thankfulness, gratefulness. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5, verse 9, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God." Now, again, I'm not denying that bad things happen to the Native Americans, and I'm, as a white person, I'm sorry that they had, been done wrong the way they were done wrong. But again, we've got to move on from that. And there's many Native Americans who would agree with me and who have moved on from that, and they celebrate this time because there's a lot of bad stories out there, but this is one of them that's not. You cannot make this an evil story about colonization, subjugation. You can't, because it's not true. It's just simply not true. Now, there are those stories out there, and for those, we need to shed light on those. There needs to be repentance, forgiveness, and love and mercy shed all over those times in our ugly history. But you can't make something out of nothing. So we just need to remember this is a time of thankfulness, peace, and remember Jesus' words: "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God." So I hope this was an enriching blessing for you. I hope that it shed some light on some areas that you might have been confused in. But again, don't take things at their face value. Don't listen to people who seem to have it all figured out. I don't believe I have it all figured out. I'm humble enough to say I don't have it figured out. I have the scriptures, and I believe that's the pure truth. And I diligently search them to try to find the truth, but I don't have it all figured out. That's why when I come across an article like this, I genuinely and humbly read it to see what the person is saying. They may know something I don't know. But when I read this, it's a hit piece. That's what it is. It's a hit piece, and it's a lie, and don't believe it. So read it for yourself. Draw your own conclusion. So God bless you all. Hello, my name is Riley Brannon, a follower of Christ and founder and leader of In Light of the Truth Ministries, where we always seek to exalt and glorify Christ by living for the truth and to promote righteous living. If this video has been a blessing to you, I would ask that you would please like and subscribe to keep the algorithm circulating this message. And if you have any comments or statements, please share in the comment section below. But I only ask that you be respectful. Thank you.